Greece has always been a land of legend. From Achilles to Leonidas, their exploits are known across the world, and will be taught until the end of human civilization. While these individuals may be well known, many only really know the Persian invasions and the Athens and Sparta rivalry. In this video, we will cover the ancient to archaic eras of Greece. Even from its earliest days, the people of ancient Greece have always had a close relationship to the sea. In fact, we can find one of the earliest examples of maritime trade as far back as 5000 BC. For instance, in the Franchly Cave, archaeologists found obsidian from the island of Melos, which meant someone had to travel across the sea to bring it there. It was also around this time that early villages would begin to be established, with the introduction of farming being brought to Greece in the later stages of this period. The ancient era of Greece is marked by three important civilizations: the Cycladics, the Minoans, and the Mycenaeans. The Cycladics were a maritime people who settled in the southern Aegean Sea on islands such as Paros or Andros. These peoples formed a distinct Aegean culture and were famous for their marble figurines. With bronze weapons becoming more common, warfare and piracy became the norm by around 2000 BC. Because of this, the Cycladic peoples abandoned their northern settlements and moved south to more fortified islands. It was around 2500 BC that the Castri people from Asia Minor would begin to colonize the Cycladic islands, driving the natives to the southern, more fortified islands. The Minoans from the island of Crete would incorporate the Cycladics into their trade system, and the remnants of the Cycladic peoples would assimilate into the Minoan culture. Over on the Greek mainland, several states of the Mycenaean culture formed. Records from ancient Egypt and the Hittite Empire suggest that there was a single Mycenaean state ruled by a king. Although there is no Linear B records, which is the written language that was used by the ancient Mycenaeans, to suggest this. On the other hand, there could have been a Mycenaean coalition in the late Bronze Age, as Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey suggest. Also, there is real archaeological evidence to suggest that Troy, the city the Greeks were besieging, was in fact a real place. Soon after the mythical Trojan War, the Mycenaean coalition would collapse and cities would be abandoned. The reason for this sudden collapse can be pointed to the Dorian Greeks. They were either an invading force from the north or a slave class who revolted and took over or destroyed many cities. Some bands of Mycenaeans would flee Greece altogether on ships and join the many bands of the sea people, who raided, invaded, and settled in the eastern Mediterranean. Those who remained in Greece would move to smaller, rural communities and begin a new life. Greece had entered its Dark Age. As said before, after the collapse of the Mycenaean civilization, cities were abandoned and most Greeks now lived in small villages in the wilderness. For 200 years, Greece was a land of anarchy. It wasn't until around 900 BC that some of the first polises, or city-states, were created. It was by the end of this period that city-states such as Sparta, Athens, and the Kingdom of Macedonia were founded. The Greek Archaic period is when ancient Greece changes into the form we all know and love today. Sparta began its conquest across the Peloponnese, asserting itself as a hegemon for the next few centuries. Hoplite warfare became the trend, and battles over farmland, which were scarce, happened often. During this period, colonies were also established as far as Spain or northern Africa. A colony would send back food and raw materials to its mother city, which would in turn send back finished goods like pottery or olive oil. Athens is first and foremost known for inventing democracy, although this process would actually take over a full century. Slowly, over the years, reforms were made to benefit the people, such as the Draconian Constitution, Athens' first legal code, or Solon's legal and economic reforms. In 510 BC, Hippias, the tyrant of Athens, was overthrown. The Athenians would finally invent democracy, using the past century of legal codes as its foundation. Little did the Athenians know that Hippias would return, and with a powerful friend.
Our arrows will blot out the sun. Then we will fight in the shade.